Obaki Hunter here, doing another out of the blue live stream video. And I really think I'm going to stick to the whole talk in the dark thing. I think I mentioned before that first and foremost, it's such a traditional thing to do. Uh, I remember growing up just having ghost stories and talking about it at night, or we would be somewhere that's haunted. Of course, you're never there in the daytime, right? It's always at night. It's in the dark. A lot of things happen in the dark. I've learned that over the years. So, whether or not someone is watching this right now, or maybe even later on, thank you for taking time out of your day or night to view what I have to say, even though all you see is a dark screen. Let my words illustrate the things that I want to share with all of you out there. And thank you for the like, whoever that is. I appreciate you. So, tonight I'm talking about my whole feelings about the paranormal overall. And it kind of started with a conversation that we were all having today, the people that had done the Pearl City High School investigation. And we were talking about we were talking about several different things, but one thing in particular came up, and it was fascinating to me to hear that, we could just stay in tune with one particular thing. Sin City, it is so good to see you. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. How we could just tune in one particular thing, right? And it had to do with, of course, Pearl City High School and the Scream. The Scream does not seem to be letting us alone. The Scream is still, something that we are all fascinated by. So we were talking about Hawaiian hauntings. Here we go. Rock and roll with Joe. So we were talking today about that. We were talking about the Scream and other things. And it was just really interesting, to just bounce around a couple of ideas about it. And I said to myself, well, this is a much deeper rabbit hole, right? A much deeper rabbit hole. And hi to everybody that's out there right now. Sorry, let's see. We got Sin City, we got Hawaiian Hauntings, we got Neo Toma, we got Aristocat. We got good people on listening to this live stream. So, that got me thinking afterwards. I kind of like had to think more about the Scream. And I think that for me personally, the Scream is a big deal. It could be sourced out many different ways. I heard a whole bunch of ideas, I have. But I think that it's more or less the focal point, using that word again, as to why I'm in this thing. It's not so much a trigger. It's it's a cause. That Scream was a cause. Does that make sense? It's a cause to action, to wanting to know more. And of course, hauntings come out in many different ways. As much as there's many different types of ghosts, and we could sit here and do like a show for a year on ghosts. Honest to God, I could pull in all these different people, and all these different people are going to say, well, a ghost is this and a ghost is that. And the reasons why they haunt this place is for this reason and that reason. I've been very blessed to speak with many different types of people on the subject of ghosts. People that have opened my eyes a bit more. And in turn, I hope the exchange with ideas has opened their eyes, because that's the only way it's interesting, right? It's not interesting if I say, well, guys, guess what? This is my opinion and that's it. Let's put it up in lights, okay? Everybody look at what he's saying, oh, geez, No, I'm not like that. But the Scream is something that really stays with me. It's something that touches my heart. And for everyone else that's coming in right now, hello, Corey. I see you there, my friend. Mary Jean, I see you there as well. And everyone else. Is it Mary Jean? I'm sorry, yeah, Mary Jean. Uh, Let me put my dang glasses on. Oh, there you guys are. Hawaiian Haunting says, dude, I was contemplating on it tonight and the lizard came up again. The lizard that dropped between me and Mace, pretty sure it was pregnant because its belly was fat. Does that happen with eggs? You know, signs, symbols, all these things, they play a part in our day-to-day life, right? A pregnant mo'o falling, representing maybe a pregnant student jumping. See, this is how we think. We who do the paranormal, we think along these lines, right? We really, I call them downloads. I think we all get downloads from whatever source they may be out there in the spirit world, right? We all tend to get downloads every now and then. And then we kind of like, it's not so much having a thought about ghosts, it's feeling the thought, it's living the thought. And then when you talk about it, you're representing your thoughts, you know? And I believe that that's very much possible with what Joe said. But again, the scream, that scream. You know, we were coming up with different thoughts on it. But for me, I had to stick by my guns. And I had to say, well, you know what? This is why I believe it's a ghost. And hopefully, what I said as to why this is a ghost that was screaming out there in the night um, resonates with other people or resonates with all of you out there. And it's not just a matter of, well, you know, you hear this story, you go to this place, and people see this white lady walking on the side of the road all the time. And if you go there at a certain time of night, you're going to see this white lady. It kind of becomes more than that. And I think it really does more for people that have been affected by the paranormal. And I think a lot of you out there who tune into my channel and others like it have been affected by the paranormal. Hawaiian hauntings, also the duality of the scream and the picture, something is there. Yeah, you have to kind of like put everything together. There was the lizard, the scream, the voices that came out of the spirit box that definitely was connected, I believe, to the scream. I think the scream was a cry for help. The voices that came out of the spirit box was something that was trying to draw us in for whatever reason it wanted to draw us in. You know, and that's that's the only place I can leave it at right now. I'm sure more things can come out of this, uh, out of what happened, you know, as far as thoughts are concerned. But yeah, anything that has to do with the paranormal, we get drawn into. There's a white lady somewhere, we go to where the white lady is. Along the way, all these different things that happen, right? Like what Joe is describing, all these other things that happen kind of opens up your doors a bit more. And you say to yourself, well, it's not just a white lady, there's more things going on. Hawaiian Haunting said the double exposure, that's what it was, and the scream giving the impression of two people. See, we hear about these things and we go to these places, and then it's more than what we originally expected it to be. Aristocat says, hearing the scream live seems different after listening to it over again. Sounds like a pig, but then scream sounds like a female. Well, ultimately, it could be many things. My mind went so far with the scream at Pearl City High School. Okay, and I shouldn't be doing this to myself. But like, well, what if there were? I don't want people watching this going, "Oh yeah, what if it was that? What if it was a hunter that caught a pig somewhere out in the night, and that's the noise it made?" There'd be a lot more to be said about that. Not only that, I've unfortunately witnessed pigs that were in the final moments of their lives, and it's not just a short scream. No, it's not. And I've also heard people in similar situations screaming out in the night too. But if you really listen to this scream and you really let honesty come into the picture, if you actually do that, if you allow yourself that to happen, right? Then you will kind of like start to say to yourself, well, it could be a lot of things, but it does sound like this. So there's all of that, right, to be seen and said about the paranormal. But there's also something else as well. And that is, what do you do with what you've learned or what you think is going on? So say there is the ghost of a suicide victim. Say there are ghosts that have ill intention. Say that there's the history of Waimano home leaking into the history and then kind of like merging with the history of Pearl City High School. Well, what do you do with all of that? I think we were talking about that today too. Yeah, what part can you play in all of this stuff? And ultimately, no matter what is said, I believe, and by the way, thank you for the likes. It means a lot for my channel when you give those. Ultimately, it's you giving your best and letting that best translate into whatever works. And when I say giving your best, it doesn't have anything involved except something from your heart. There's no ego. There's no having to, be on top of something. It's just you giving your best to the situation, whether it's prayers, whether it's meditation. There could be many different things. And also, it's not just what you do for the spirits, it's how it affects you. If that makes any sense to the people that are watching right now, it's how it affects you. How did it make you into a better person? Or did it even make you into a better person? The paranormal is a tricky thing. The paranormal can make you into a dark person as well. There's choices that we need to make, in our hearts that are just plain as day. And there are choices that we make that play themselves out, if that makes any sense. I really am, with this particular case, opening myself up to more possibilities. If we can help, that's great. Even if it's just, for a little while, that we give some relief to these spirits. And working together, we do that, right? We do that. Sometimes I'm the guy that's sitting in the dark, not just talking to you here on YouTube. I'm the guy that's out in the dark somewhere, solo. And things can happen with that. I can easily come back and be not the same person in the worst way possible, right? But I can also become a better person based upon how I let that experience affect me. Kuhao is saying, I was in the Heiau praying for you while you were at Pearl City High School. I drummed on the pahu for peace, love, unity, and healing. Well, let me tell you something right now. We need that. We need the seers. We need the people that are trying to guide and are guiding in their own way with their thoughts. We need everyone. We need every single person with every single idea out there when it comes to figuring all this stuff out. But the most important thing is staying on the same page, because it's easy to deviate with that. As an example, and I mean no disrespect, there was people commentating on the screen. And when we were having our discussion, I kind of said to myself, well, sometimes you got to filter out everything on social media, right? You got to filter out the ones that are legit in what they're saying, or the ones that are just saying it for the sake of saying it. And I won't say in what way or what was said to draw that conclusion. But sometimes you got to be honest with social media. You got to be honest with what I'm learning, going on my journey in life. You have to be honest with everything. You have to be honest when you're doing great. You have to be honest when you're doing the worst, and you have to want that ability to make things as good as they can possibly be. But again, social media, there are great people out there, and there are people. I see them all the time. Why would I deny the truth? Why would I deny the truth? There are people out there that are saying things just to say things. So it's hard to go in on everything and put all your eggs in one best basket. It's kind of difficult when it comes to social media to say everyone's legit. I'm not trying to say, hey, you know what, I set the best example. I don't. But again, it gets back to honesty, doesn't it? Doesn't it get back to honesty when it comes to all of this stuff? So some of the things that we were having a discussion about, I was kind of like, well, like I said, I don't know who's legit or who's not. Maybe if we just continue to have the consistency of coming together and continuing to do what we do, that's a great thing. For me, I kind of like slid backwards. I said, hey, Halloween, time to come out, right? And do things. It's not Halloween anymore. The things that we experienced at Pearl City High School continue to happen. I can almost guarantee you that. Maybe not every night. Who knows? Maybe we were just on a particular night when things happen. But then again, from what people are saying outside of social media for years, that this phenomenon with the screaming and the spirits that show up there, that's a consistent thing. I can believe that. And more importantly, I can work with that. For everyone else that said hi out there, hello, how are you? And Joy just popped in. Hi to you too. So I believe that. I believe that when we work together, even though people may say things like results may vary, it's the honesty, it's the heart. That's what matters. It really, truly matters. The spiritual repercussions that we see with ghosts, their anger, their joy, their sorrow, these are all things that we share with them. So we can approach spirits and honestly make them feel that, hey, you know what? We still believe the way you believe. We still feel the way you feel. And if there's something else besides that we can learn from you, please let us know. I think if we can work along those lines, there is a possibility that real change can come out of investigations. But we have to get past certain hurdles first, right? Like when we were at the stairwell, that was really hardcore. You have to get over that. That was like a gut punch to your psyche. Bam. That was it. You have to get over that. And I know we all did our best and we all got affected by it. So, I mean, and sometimes too, I think the ghosts that we encounter, like the ghost in the stairwell at Pearl City High School, was probably more than likely, or it's possible, trying to express its feelings and its emotions as well. I'm saying it's possible. And in the process of trying to do that, maybe a spirit, and the reason why I felt like it was taking my energy is that it was desperate to get anything it could possibly get to let us know what it was going through. If you had to take my energy, then you took my energy. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of being taken over by a spirit and their needs. Not a fan of that. I don't believe in mediums and all that other stuff. I think it's just not a good thing because it's a 50-50 or even more dangerous equation to be working with. And but maybe that's what was going on. Maybe, you know. And so if I think the unique thing about the Waimana home haunting and the Pearl City High School haunting is that I think that the way you approach one can also help and benefit the other. In both situations, tragedy took place. One on a larger scale. See what I'm saying? Much larger scale with Waimano home. But tragedy is tragedy. Large scale, individual. You cannot remove the definition of what happened, right? So maybe the way we continue to learn about the paranormal can happen with something like this unique situation. That I think is the most important thing. And I'm not sharing it in the conversation that we had earlier. I'm sharing it with all of you right now. And I'm glad Hawaiian Hauntings is here. I'm glad Faye is here. She just popped in. Everyone that showed up, Kaleo, everyone as well, Steve, everybody. That's the important part. And we need to expand our horizons with it. And I think we can do it together. I don't think we should handle it on our own at all. Uh, as Kohal said, thank you, Obaki, for sharing all these things. You're welcome. You're welcome. This whole thing with the because we were talking about this. The chatter kind of went into how what happened that night affected us the following day and even after that. I know you heard us say that too. But the one thing that continues to affect me is sometimes empathy. Sometimes empathy. Now, I think I felt empathy in some way when I heard a young girl screaming out there. And you guys may believe me or not. That's you guys make the call on that. Sometimes I feel like we need to use empathy because sometimes honest, right? Being honest, it's cruel to try and throw something else into the picture when the haunting is connected to one particular thing. It's okay to come up with some ideas, but we have to use empathy because if there is a girl stuck out there after having taken her life, it's how we do something that really matters the most. How we really put our heart into it. And I think if anything, if that would be the reason why I'm in the paranormal, and I think there'll be more discussions with different people that are in this field, people that are here tonight, and whoever else wants to come on, give me your input. Let me know what really matters to you. Because what I try to do is I try to take everything off the table, ideas, equipment, everything else, and just keep it to what it really is. We share this world with another world. What do we do with that information? We share this world with the other world. How do we draw great conclusions with that? Because I think we're capable of doing it. So that's my thoughts. Again, thank you for the likes. Thank you for continuing watching Ghosts of Hawaii. Uh, my thing is I should have been a little bit more active, but I had things going on. But thanks to, I guess, this past Halloween. Also, thanks to great guests. Thanks for people like you watching. Thanks for people like you asking questions. Thanks for people that are out there saying, hey, there's something going on out there. Can you come and take a look? All these things are so great, right? It's so great to put together. I think it matters. And I think our answers that we give to you on this channel or on social media with the people that are doing it for the right reasons, even with their responses, hey, that can lead to something wonderful in the future. Anyway, guys, so what's coming up next is I'm trying to get a show together for Kuhao. We're going to be talking about the Pahu. I was thinking about doing it in December, but all things said, maybe we should get Kuhao maybe right before Thanksgiving if he's up for that. And so we got that show coming up. I got a few other ideas that I'm working on too. I'm not going to let this channel flatline. It's not going to flatline. It's not going to be there dead. It's not going to be there like weeks have gone by. We will have talks in the dark because it just so happens that's where a lot of this stuff starts to happen, right? in the dark. So that's what I'm going to be calling it, a talk in the dark. And I'm glad I got all of you folks to sit around and talk story with me. And by the way, if you folks do want to share an experience, if you want me to, thank you, Faye. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to do my best with all of this. If you folks want to leave me a story or something that you would like for me to share on the show, if I think it fits in, and I'll be very open about it, and get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me on my Gmail, obakihunter51 at gmail.com. Drop me a line if you have something to share, or if you know someone who would be a great guest, or if you want to be a guest as well. The show, the show doesn't have to be like hours, although we've done like, oh my God, I've done some things that are like several hours. Even if you just want to be on for a little bit, then that's great. Mike S. Atkins, Sacred Grounds. There's a lot of them here in Hawaii, my friend. There's a lot of them here in Hawaii and throughout the world. Matter of fact, there's a whole thing that should be done with Sacred Grounds as well. I think that would make a great show. And maybe Kuhal would be up to bat for that. And some other people. I think Joe Panohu, you gave me a great idea. I want to do a show on Sacred Grounds. And I think people like Joe Punohu and Kuhao would be great guests that come on the show. We once did a show, which was really awesome, by the way. We once did a show that we were talking about. I think the topic was evil spirits or something. And Kuhao came on and gave his input on that. And then Joe Punohu came on and gave his input. Oh, Joy, thank you. Can't wait to see and listen to it all. I can't wait till you folks get to sit down and listen to it as well. So I'm going to add that to the list. Mike Atkins, if you are still watching Sacred Grounds, that is a great idea. See how the audience is so important? The audience matters. The audience brings up things that we should talk about. So I'm going to add that onto the list. I'm also going to try and get another. I know about a year ago we had a paranormal group on, and I've been talking with another group, but they're not from the mainland. They're from Hawaii. So, and it's a group outside of our group. And I'm going to see if I can get them on as quickly as possible because I know you probably want to hear. You would be interested in hearing what they have to share. There's been an interest with the outer islands. There's definitely been an interest with the outer islands. So you folks might I think you will like the show that I have planned for you because they kind of were talking to me, hey, maybe we should do a show. So Jessica Mink, aloha to you too as well. So yeah, just look at that. So wonderful. Sacred Grounds. Um, and then I have a show coming up with a paranormal group from the outer islands, amongst other things too. So stick around, guys. And also, when I get these ideas right that I want to talk about, then I'll go solo. I'm glad that I have people here and I was talking to you and I got 8 likes so far. That's saying that, hey, you should continue doing this. And I appreciate you folks doing that. So besides everything I just said, uh, yeah, these surprise live streams. Also, you folks should know that in the not too distant future, we are not done with Pearl City High School. I think it's good to put KLM and everything else off to the side for a while. But my thanks to Kaleo and everyone else out there who are chiming in about it. We're going to go to almost ground zero. Not quite, but as close as we can get to Waimano. And I think that will happen sooner than later. Oh, yeah. Thank you for saying that, Sen. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys hit the like button, it helps. It also helps if you say, hey, there's this guy on YouTube and he does this show. And, I mean, by now I have quite a few videos, right? And I hope that people will like what is being said because I think that the subject matter will always be one that draws people together. And so, with that said, oh my God, almost half an hour just nonstop talking. I will be talking to you all again soon. Gordon says, I believe that when we go out on an investigation, the participants need to be real and honest, or things can happen to them, especially if their spirit is real. Yeah, I believe that too. I totally believe that. We should talk about what's important in an investigation. Gordon, hit me up. We should talk about getting you on for a show as well. I'm looking forward to that. You know I am. You know I am looking forward to that. If you are the person I think you are. Anyway, Paranormal Portal is still going strong. I remember Paranormal Portal. They had me on as a guest 3 times on their show. I need to go back and watch some Paranormal Portal myself. Very blessed to have been on their show 3 times as a guest. Yeah, it's a great show. You guys go ahead and check out Paranormal Portal if you haven't heard of them before. Tell them Obaki sent you over to see what they do. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, after this, probably within the next couple of days, I will contact the people that are interested. Um, People that are interested in going to the closest place that we can to one of the most haunted places. I kid you not, in the entire world. And there's a lot of haunted places, right? I'm sure you can go Google after I'm done and you hear all these different places with all these different stories. Well, we have Waimano home, and it's sad that, we have to look at the history to say, well, this is why it's one of the most haunted places. But we have to be honest about it, right? It is that reason, but it is one of the most haunted places of all time. You're on the Big Island now, Sin? Oh, awesome! I just had someone contact me that wants me to hear some stories about the Big Island. I think in Kohala or something. I have to get a hold of them. They actually reached out to me. I guess people are reaching out to me more now that I'm doing, more of these live streams and investigations and stuff. So, yeah, and I've been to the Big Island. I know some haunted places there as well. So, anyway, guys, let's just get to the point where we're gonna wrap this up. Okay, we're gonna wrap all of this up. I'm gonna head on out. It's just so nice to be able to talk to everybody. Uh, yes, we talk about Maui being haunted, and I know why you're mentioning that. And it's been haunted before. It'll continue to be haunted. And yes, it's sad. Anyway, guys, talk to you all again soon. We're in the holiday season. Can't wait to have more discussions with all of you, by myself in the dark and with other people in the dark. But in the dark, there's so many answers, right? You all take care. Ghosts of Hawaii, you're home for a dose of ghosts and great people like you. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Aloha.